We have to cross over to Kumasi at this moment. The show will continue shortly, but we're breaking in to cross over to Kumasi because there is some breaking news. There's a fire that's broken out in Adum, and it's spreading quite rapidly, and it's looking quite menacing. And we're crossing over to Hafiz Tijani, Ashanti regional correspondent, to bring us an update of what is happening there. Hafiz, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David.
Yes, Hafiz, what can you report from the fire situation that's happening?
So the fire is still raging. This is the central business district of the Kumasi metropolis, Adum to be precise. And we understand the fire started from one of the buildings here, where we understand some electrical gadgets are sold. And it has been spreading to the container shops you see behind that particular building. And it is getting into the other building here. And because of the combustibles that are in the container shops or the makeshift structures that have been put by some individuals here, the fire is being ignited. And from where I stand, you could hear explosions and blast because there are gas cylinders inside the area where the fire is currently burning. Fire officers are having a hectic time trying to control this incident because access is a major issue. They are not getting access to the place. We have about 6 fire tenders that have come so far from different fire stations within the Kumasi metropolis and parts of the Ashanti region. And that is what you find when you come here. People who are coming in, hearing the fire for the first time and their shops are closed, they are now going to salvage their wares. As you can see, this is where you have second-hand clothing that are sold here, and we have other shops where we have seamstresses and other people, dressmakers who work here, and we have people who do some kind of cosmetic shops here around the makeshift structures here. We have people who also repair watches and all that. So people who have stored or saved their goods and wares at these makeshift structures are coming in and taking them, salvaging them from the place so that it will not be caught. So you see in the pictures, you are seeing people trying to salvage their wares, trying to evacuate them to another location. A lot of people who are victims of this fire are looking so helpless. They cannot do anything about the fire. The fire officers themselves are having a hectic time, like I said, trying to access some key points to be able to bring the situation under control. But the fire is still raging. People are here, onlookers, bystanders, and passers-by, trying to console with the victims. But you see some of them looking so devastated, cannot hold back their tears because they can't just imagine seeing all their investment going down. So that is what you find here at the Central Business District, Adum. So the fire is raging. For now, we don't know the cause of the fire, but we understand it started from one of the shops. And because of the combustibles, you find gas cylinders. People also live here, so they have, or even shop owners who also have their gas cylinders at this particular makeshift structures where they cook and all that. They are not able to take anything from the incident scene where the fire is still raging. So fire officers are still managing to douse the flames. They are bringing in more fire tenders, trying to find access routes. And because of the nature of this area, you find out that the containers, the makeshift structures have been blocked. They have blocked all the access routes. They have blocked all the access routes, and you are not finding any space for the fire officers to be able to access the exact point where the fire is still spreading. So now it's engulfing the other building, and people are being brave, going to their shops. Some of them are breaking into the shop because some shop owners are not there and they can't have the keys to some of these shops. So they are trying to break in to evacuate all the wares from the place and keep it at a safe place. But that is what you find here when you come here. It's devastating for people who are having their wares affected. So this particular area is a very popular area because it's a major trading hub where you have a number of people trading in different items and also engaging in different trading activities. And this is where you have the Hello FM, the popular Hello FM building. It's just close to where the fire is raging, and there are fears it could spread to that building too. But the challenge is that access for the fire officers to be able to get to the point where the fire is raging. And because we have the makeshift structures, we have wooden structures as well as the metal containers and the kind of combustibles that are in the structures, it's very difficult, and it's making the fire spread so fast and getting into other structures and getting into another building. So that is the major building there you see where a number of shops is a two-story building. A number of shops are being occupied there, and the fire has engulfed that building also, and it's not an easy sight to see, David.
Yeah. So Hafiz, the question that comes to mind is the fire tenders. You mentioned there are 6 of them that are on the ground at the moment. How far apart are the fire stations from from Adum, and is there a possibility of calling in more fire tenders, considering the size of this inferno that we are looking at? And then would that even impact much, if you're putting into context the accessibility? Because if you bring the fire tenders, the question is that will they even have access to deal with the fire?
So the closest fire station is the Kejetia. Because of the nature of the market,
yes,
there was a fire station designated for that, a specialized fire station.
Yes.
That is the closest. And then you have the Menshia fire station, you have the KMA fire station, and you have the Konfanoti fire station.
Okay.
So this is a coordinated effort by the Ghana National Fire Service trying to bring all the fire stations on board.
Okay.
So we have personnel from all these fire stations coming together. But like I said, even the fire tenders are here. The major issue for the fire officers is access, where some of the fire tenders will be positioned a very strategic location to be positioned so they can douse this inferno, this raging inferno. And David, this is getting more serious because more structures are being engulfed and more buildings are being engulfed. And because of the nature of the place, it's a kind of congested area where even walking through on a normal day is very difficult for the trader or people who are coming to have their services, have some services here. So you see what some people are doing, trying to open up this area and bring some wares. Everyone is each one for himself, like I would say, better put, each one for himself. People are trying to salvage their wares from their shops, their various shops, so that the fire doesn't reach there. But the access is a major situation or a major challenge for fire officers here. So you have the Menshia fire coming in, the Konfanoti fire station coming in, the personnel coming in with fire tenders, the KJTR fire coming in, the KMA fire coming in, the regional fire command coming in, and the kind of coordinated efforts trying to bring down this inferno. But a big challenge for them is how to access the major point where the fire is raging. And there are fears if there's no access by the fire officers. We're expecting a big disaster today, because people are just looking on, seeing their property just go down, and they are not having anything to do about it, and they cannot do anything about it. There is a thick smoke that is billowing in the air. You stand from afar, areas like from stadium to Adum, you can see this thick smoke that is covering the sky, and that is telling you, while at the office, our office at Asqua, you could see this thick smoke billowing from the area, and one couldn't imagine where the smoke was coming from until we made our checks to find out it was this fire that continues to devastate properties of individuals, traders here at the Central Business District. And because of the busy and congested nature of this place, you find a number of trading activities here. People are not able to salvage, some of them are not able to salvage some of their wares. Others who are lucky have been able to salvage their wares. As you can see in pictures, people have brought in vehicles trying to evacuate these wares to a very safe location, so the fire does not extend to their shops or the warehouses where they have kept this wares. So fire officers still making efforts. Onlookers also here giving all sort of commentaries. Passers-by also standing by, others using their phones to take some pictures. The bystander effects is reigning in here. And for those whose shops have not been engulfed or whose shops are close to the fire, the building currently that it's been engulfed, other adjoining shops are trying, owners of adjoining shops are trying to salvage their wares. That is the effort now, or that is the focus now for them, to be able to salvage their wares, evacuate them to a very safe location, while fire officers also make efforts to try and control the situation. But the major concern has been the access, because of the congested nature of this area. So we have police officers who have also been deployed here to maintain order, while assisting also fire officers to help them do their work, David. So there are fears also that this is just going to be spreading through the shops because of the nature of this area, due to the congested nature of this area. People are raising concern about access, and this has always been a concern. Whenever there's fire at the central market, the Kumasi Central Market, the fire officers would always complain about access, calling on the city authorities to try and then demarcate the market area very well, so that in times like this, an emergency of this sort happening, fire officers and other emergency services are able to come in and at least work out to control the situation to save property. So that building also is going down, from one building to makeshift structures to container shops to another major building. One of the buildings in the Central Business District that houses a number of artisans, a number of traders who are partaking or participating in different activities here at the Central Business District. This is the
so
situation you are seeing, Dave.
Yeah, so some people who are watching now, like ourselves, are looking at the visuals, and we are wondering, I know the fire men and the fire tenders are on site, but we can't see them in our visuals. Where would, if you can sort of paint a picture for us, where would they be located at this point? you know, considering that we can't see them in our visuals?
Okay, so this fire is happening from the end of the KJTR area to coming into the Hello FM building area. So the fire tenders are located at that side of the KJTR roundabout, trying to get to the other points to douse the flame. But the fire is now inching close to the Hello FM building and is coming towards the footbridge at Adum. That is where you have this congested area, these structures. That's where you find these structures. But the challenge for the fire officers is that because of the number of the fire tenders that have come in, other fire tenders could have used this route from where we are standing, where the camera is currently showing the videos of the raging fire. Other fire tenders could have come to this side of the incident scene to also douse the flame to prevent it from spreading to other shops. But because the concentration is at the other side of the incident scene, that is why you are not getting, or that is why the fire keeps spreading to the other areas. But if there was a fire, if there was a fire tender, or if some of the fire tenders were also here, they could stop the fire from spreading further to the other facilities or the other structures. But now the focus is at the other end, where the fire officers can only have access to kind of control the inferno. David.
All right. Thank you very much, Hafiz, for this update. Very important update that you've brought us. And we will be joining you later on as you have more further developments. We do wish all the best for the team that is on the ground, the fire tenders, the firemen that are there. And we hope that this fire is brought brought down completely as quickly as possible, and to save properties as well as lives as well. Thank you very much, Hafiz, for that update there. And so we're speaking with our correspondent and colleague, Hafiz Tijani, in Kumasi, and as he brought us that update there, it's a very challenging situation. If you happen to live in Kumasi, you will understand the terrain. If you happen to have lived in Kumasi before, understand the space, you know exactly what we're talking about here. It's a very, very tough space for vehicles to maneuver in. Regular vehicles, much less the size of fire tenders trying to go through in a situation like this, with they need to get as close to the fire as possible to really hit the origins of the fire. You know, the nature of fire fighting is quite tough, you know, so we wish them all the best, you know, in this situation. And well, we'll bring you further updates as we do this. But welcome to Breakfast Daily once again. My name is David Kwekusechi. I don't do this alone. I'm here with the ever gorgeous Jifa Katie. Hello, Jifa. Good morning.
Good morning, Kweku. Yeah. Good morning. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in Akaba. That was rather a sad situation in Kumasi. I think our authorities need to take a second look at the construction and the layout of our market centers, as well as possibly trying to decongest our markets, because Kweku, the congestion in the marketplaces are just too much. Quite recently, a fire broke out in Kantamanto, and that was just one of many fire incidents that has happened in Greater Accra region, as well as other market areas. And it's quite sad that people lose their wares or their hard-earned monies day in and day out, or year in and year out, and then we don't seem to find a solution to this problem.
You know, leadership is not easy. If it was, we'll all be presidents. Right, leadership is not easy. Now, this decision to decongest is a tough and an unpopular one, right? But it's something you have to do.
Right.
Do you see the thing? The decision to punish people, even though there's no fire. When you do your checks, they don't have fire extinguishers on site. They are doing illegal connections. They are putting gas fires or
cooking in
marketplaces and places they are not supposed to. The decision to punish them, it's unpopular and it's difficult. But you have to do it because it's the only way to prevent this from happening.
Kweku, I think the fire service has been able to get access into some parts of the market area that's burning, as seen in the shot. This was earlier.
Yeah,
right.
From, because the thing is that so you see the shot you're seeing here. What happened with the ones we're talking to Hafiz on? These are images from earlier, but the one where we're talking to Hafiz has moved to the other side.
Right.
So the fire tenders are